inflation's just been occurring everywhere. That's where I said we could do 450. Before COVID, we were at 350. And then right through COVID up to 450, and so it's gone up and up and up since.
If you're comparing apple to apple, 2025 to 2019, 6-year gap, same finishes, same house, double the price.
Double the price for sure. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 329 of the Real Estate Podcast. Today we're going to be discussing real estate, building, construction, price points, and all sorts of different things. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Real Estate Podcast, your go-to source for raw, unfiltered stories and expert tips. Whether you're a buyer, seller, tenant, landlord, or realtor, join us as we dive into the world of real estate.
Oops. I'm going to break my microphone before we get started.
You're supposed to stop playing with it. All right, well.
You know me, though. I need to fidget. Welcome, everybody. Matt, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Thanks for joining us again.
Yeah,
Were you the first guest we ever had on the podcast? First or second?
I don't know. It's a while back
I don't
now.
know. It was like 5 years ago.
That's not more, isn't it? I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah.
Long time.
Whatever.
Oh, yeah, it was more because that was pre-COVID.
Yeah. Right? Yeah,
Wow.
way before.
Holy
Probably
shit,
2 or 3 years
time
before
flies.
COVID hit.
Yeah.
Wow.
I forgot we've been doing it this long. So today we've got Matt King from Kingsgate Construction joining us today. We're going to chat about all things construction, custom builds,
houses,
all
the stuff.
housing costs, construction costs. That's been a big conversation topic lately. In fact, I had a client last year who we sold their property. They severed their property in Puslinch, and we sold the retained piece, and they were going to build on the new piece, but they decided not to. By the time they were done, the cost had doubled.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe to start the podcast off, for those who don't know you, if you could just give us your origin story and tell them who you are, where you came from, and what you do.
For sure. So I'm co-founder at Kingsgate Construction. My dad and I started the business 14 years ago now, I think. We do custom homes, high-end home renovations, full house rebuilds, guts, all that kind of stuff. And Milton area, Caledon, Erin, Peel, down Oakville, Burlington, all that kind of area. So covering the GTA and
Nice.
just keep building some pretty cool stuff. So
And you're very active on social.
yeah.
So for those who, I love watching your stuff. Anything home related.
We've upped our social game.
Yeah.
A lot.
It's impressive.
A lot, yeah. Quite a lot.
Well, you've also got the beautiful homes to
They're
showcase,
fun to show off,
right?
yeah, for sure. And people like to see the process of how we're doing everything and get behind the scenes. And now you can kind of follow how a project starts from conception to finish now. So
Yeah.
you can follow us over the year it takes to build a home all of a sudden and see.
Are you still doing all?
No, I'm not doing any of it now.
You started it. Though.
Yeah, and then I couldn't keep up. So
No, for sure.
we have help with that now.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. We needed the help. I kind of tapped out on that part.
Yeah.
I always say it's there's got to be some emotion behind what you're doing when you're putting stuff out online.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, I want to book a room at the Liberty Inn.
Yeah, it's a nice spot. That was a 2.5 year project.
2.5 years. Holy
There was there was a lot of different plans as we went, and we were hoping to at some point take off the existing edition of that building and put in a bigger, more contemporary edition and have a restaurant and all sorts of things. But then NEC and permit process kind of didn't let that happen, so went to just renovating the existing structure that was there.
It looks beautiful.
It's an incredible space. Like, it was always special as we were working on it, but then to see it finished was just like, okay, I get the vision all of a sudden.
How many rooms are there?
There's 5 units.
Yeah.
2 of them are 2-bedroom units, and then the other 3 are 1-bedroom units. And they all have steam showers. One has an infrared sauna in it. The amenities are amazing.
Sounds
nice.
Could be a good team retreat.
Yeah.
Target-driven team retreat.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. And then they have the woodland spa out there. So they have they have electric sauna there, but cedar sauna, cedar hot tub, cedar cold plunge.
Awesome.
Yeah, the details for the whole place are amazing. Tiffany Lees was the interior designer on it.
Yeah, she does a nice job, doesn't she?
Yeah, she can take a project to an entirely different level. It's wild what she did to that place and just the furnishings and everything. And then our clients are just such incredible people, everything they put into it, just all these little touches. Like, you can go, they have fresh croissants for you to bake in your own room when you wake up the next morning.
Oh, that's nice.
Like local jams. And yeah, it's such a cool spot to go to. They've done everything right. So Long project. Happy to be done. But yeah, special spot for sure.
Did you get to stay there after
Not yet.
the conclusion?
I'm going to. Sometime in the summer I will for sure. Because there's hiking nearby and like everything. I think they're working on getting e-bikes even on site. So we have all these individual lockers for the units. So they're hoping to have e-bikes in those units. Take those for a spin, go around, trails, everything. So it's a nice area. Yeah. And then the Canadian Open's actually up the road this year.
Oh, so cool.
It's going to be busy at that point because Osprey Valley is just 5 minutes north of there. So I think it's probably booked for that already. But yeah, it's a cool spot.
They probably had that as the...
That was a target date. It had to be open for that. Yeah. Hopefully McElroy stays at the end. We'll see.
Yeah, there you go.
He might.
That'd be good promotion for them.
Did it take a lot longer than expected?
I'd say it took longer than expected. Yeah. It's 100-something-year-old building. Like 1908, I think it was. Or no, 1855. Sorry, that's when it was originally built.
Oh, wow.
So the stuff you're uncovering and like multiple renovations and
Do you find
so much stuff.
Like the NEC and these various bodies are good to work with, or they're not so much? I hear a lot of horror
changed
stories.
lately, actually.
Oh,
right now
really?
we're doing a project in Caledon with NEC's involved, and they've been extremely responsive. We're getting lists we need back. We're giving them the information we need, instant replies. I think it's probably due to the change in the building market right now.
Yeah, I would think there's a lot of pressure on them to be pushing things through.
That is, and I just think there's less volume. So I think they have the capacity. Before I kind of get it. Like they were inundated with building permit requests for, like they're trying to police these large homes coming in, right? And everyone was building them, and it has tapered back. So I think they have more capacity to handle things. That's what we're seeing on our end now.
Yeah.
So they're necessary. If they would work along with us more, it would be helpful. Like we're not trying to do bad things and wreck these properties, right?
No,
we're not clear cutting them and like, you see quarries going through in the Niagara Escarpment, right? And those are approved, no problem.
Right.
But I want to build a house and take down 5 trees and I'm getting pushback. It's kind of, we kind of have like, why is that necessary? But they've seemed to be better lately for sure.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any delays are just adding costs, I would think so.
Yeah. 100%.
I want to get into some of these topics. So, imaginary question here. I want to build a custom home. Where do I start?
Where do you start? You need the property or the house for sure to start. It's always good to have your wish list of what you want to eventually build. Know what you're looking for room sizes, total square footage of your home, aesthetic, all that is important to know. But I think the main thing is you got to know where you're building, what your restrictions are. Are you conservation, NEC? How big is the lot? What can it accommodate? Are you septic? Do you need hydro, gas, all that stuff? What are we doing?
What's
Bringing
available?
wells, what's
what
available?
Needs to be brought in?
Yeah. I find a lot of clients are hesitant to buy a property that has an existing house on it. Mm-hmm. For us to take down a house is nothing. Like we're 15, 20,000 typically to take down a house and have a blank lot. So it shouldn't defer clients to getting a property like that. We prefer it most of the time too, because we have electric on site. We have usually a service of water or gas that allows us to build and not have to bring all this stuff into a blank lot.
Yeah.
So you kind of guide them that way, I guess. And once they have that, then we usually involve there to then see what are we going to do? Are we renovating? Are we positioning a home? How's it going to be positioned? Are we going new or just, all the options at that point.
So you have your showroom where you have your client meetings. So let's assume Adrian and I have a client and we went out and we found a property here in Old Milton. There's, as you know, and you've done a lot in Old Milton. Let's say there's a property, and there are actually a couple on the market right now, and they're 66-foot wide lots. They're 130 feet deep, and there's an existing structure on it, and they buy it. So they've bought it, and their plan is now to do a custom build.
For sure.
So what would that look like with you involved now as the next step?
So for that, next steps would be to introduce you to one of the architects we work with, dependent on your style. So if you want contemporary, we have architects we prefer, like a Simple Design Studio.
Yeah.
Incredible for contemporary architecture. You get more into the traditional side. Wilmot Strickland's been fantastic on her recent projects. Details Matter, Atlanta Kelly Design. Like there's a lot of different people in the area that all have their strengths towards a certain design aesthetic. So once we know that, introduce you, guide them accordingly, and then the architect typically takes over the design process at that stage. And then they go through the client with wish list, bedrooms, bathrooms, look at the property, the lot, what we can position, Pinterest photos, inspiration of what you want as your aesthetic, and then the planning starts. So
I've used that as a tip to a lot of those people and have told them start a kind of like a mood board on
100%.
Pinterest of what catches your eye, what looks good. And, from our perspective, a lot of it is also forecasting as to what that might be, because if they want a 3,000 square foot home, doesn't mean you can necessarily build it anywhere.
no, exactly, yeah. Or do you want 4-car garage or
Right.
outbuilding or all these things? And a property in Milton might not be your best option, right?
Yeah.
So do you find people are coming to you before they've bought the property?
Yes and no. Right now, I probably have 3 clients we're talking to that are looking at properties actively and shoot us a listing and say, hey, what am I going to get into?
Right.
And I try to just go from photos and like, you're probably going to spend this, but try to guide them without actually going through the property. That happens once in a while, but typically they're getting the property first and then say, okay, I've secured where I want. This is the location I like. What's the next step?
How long is the process typically if everything goes smoothly from start to finish?
In the planning phase?
Yeah, so if I buy a lot, close on it today,
Yeah.
when realistically would I expect to?
Say your minimum 6 months
Okay.
up to a year, depending on the complexities of the home, how decisive the client is. Do they really know what they want? Sometimes they think they know more than they do. And then the architect starts doing layouts and showing things, and it can open up so many different options they don't realize.
Yeah.
If you can plan longer, I think it's always beneficial.
For sure.
The shotgun starts never help a client. If
Yeah.
you can plan for a year, say it's 6 months of drawings, we're spending 6 months on picking finishes, pricing out options. You're going into your project so much better prepared. It's a nicer way to build.
Yeah.
Let the permit come in, just pick the weather you want, the start date you want, move out, or if you're living in the house, move out, or just plan financially where you're going to do. Yeah, I like the year buffer for sure for an active planning space, but yeah.
And where does budgeting come into it? So if somebody, because obviously the budget needle moves sometimes,
Yes.
especially depending on finishes or if the
All sorts.
unexpected
Yeah.
happens.
Things they don't think about.
Things they don't think about. Hey, you might want to install this here if you didn't already think. Oh, yeah, that would be a great. Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
that.
Do you want the golf sim or the sound system
Right.
or all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. How much sound deadening do you
Exactly.
want? Right. All those
Yeah.
things make a factor. So, from our perspective, it's easy to say, well, this is what the lot's going to cost because we can go and buy it today for that. Maybe the easiest step is saying what it's going to take to clear the lot.
Yeah.
But how does somebody realize if they can actually afford this project?
For sure. So we used to direct clients saying typically you should carry $450 a square foot. We haven't been able to hit that number in a long time. Now we're saying
Well, that is one of our topics today.
$500 starting for sure. Typically we see clients coming into the $550 up to $800 on the high end. I think a good number to safely carry with contingencies and to be able to select the finishes you want. You should be carrying about $600 a square foot. That's going to
And you're
typically get you where
talking
you want.
above grade square footage? When
Above grade square footage, carry that number, but that number would also be inclusive of then typically finishing the basement to a certain level. So,
Right.
yeah, if you
but
have
no,
3,000 square feet
no
above grade,
golf
times-
sims
No,
and
yeah,
indoor
that's
ice
800.
rink.
yeah, that's going
Yeah.
to the 800 mark
Right.
a bit more. Yeah. So, depending on, and the aesthetics change things all the time too.
You'd be on the 800 end.
Why do you say that?
Well,
I'm very easygoing.
are you?
Yeah.
Easy going, but you like nice things.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. He can control his whole home from the house. I mean, he
Yeah.
did it himself
Yeah.
from his app
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun stuff to have.
It is.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things that you want to do in the building phase versus doing it later.
For sure. We're doing
Right.
a project now where we're roughing in for a golf simulator. Right now, it's going to become a family room for our clients, and kids
Yep.
can go watch TV. But eventually, they'll grow up and move out, and it'd be nice to have the option for a golf simulator.
Future planning.
So, yeah, plan accordingly. All these kind of things. Home automation changes all the time on all
What
our
ceiling height
projects.
do you need for
We try to hit
golf
10
simulator?
10 feet.
10?
Yeah, is our go-to. So you're going to be okay with 10. But you need a fairly good sized room for it. So we're doing another one in Caledon as well whenever that project starts next year or so. But yeah, they're becoming more common.
If somebody wants to increase the height of their basement ceiling, it's an existing foundation that you're using. Is that
It depends.
okay?
Depends a lot. Like we're doing a home.
You have to get into underpinning again.
Yeah, we're doing
and
a home
all
in
that.
Oakville. You might have seen on Instagram where we did underpinning.
Yeah.
That's a historic home I can't tear down. So underpinning just makes sense. You have to do that if you're going to get any space. It was 6-foot basements before. Now it's 10. So
Wow.
it's a massive difference. Huge increase in square footage. They can do their golf sim. They have a gym down there, mechanical room fits
Awesome.
now. Like it's a worthwhile investment.
Yeah.
A home in Milton, probably cheaper to tear it down than get into the underpinning costs and just get a new foundation, build new, and don't deal with existing structure and issues. So it's very dependent on the property and the house.
From a permit standpoint, is it more difficult the further down you go, or is it about the same?
10's pretty standard now for a basement. We try to hit 10 on all our basements. It's nice. And you have your ductwork, HVAC runs, all that. You can do a bulkhead and still have a 9-foot finish ceiling. So it's what we try to achieve. I wouldn't go lower than 9 in a basement.
Right.
Just if you go 8 with bulkheads, now you're 7 feet, right? Like it's getting cramped. So 9 to 10 is pretty standard right now.
Well, and as time goes on, just like now, 10-foot ceilings on the main and even upper floors, that's
it's kind of a
starting to be
right?
standard, common,
100%, yeah.
cookie cutter builders doing that.
Yeah.
So
It feels grand. It doesn't add a ton of cost. It is a nice feature. You get more light, more windows, more storage. Like
and we've always said that's the stuff that you can't change later, right?
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
add the golf sim down the road, but you can't change the ceiling height.
We haven't done an 8-foot ceiling in forever. I can't remember the last house with an 8-foot ceiling we've built. So typically we're 10s and 9s up on the second, or 10 and 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder at what point they went back, because if you look at like old historic homes, they are tall ceilings.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then at some point they went back down.
I don't know why.
Yeah, strange.
Yeah. Because it feels nice to
Cyclical.
be in a 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe for conserving energy,
Yeah, it could
Maybe.
be.
right?
Yeah.
All right, that's a good segue into the next question. What trends are homeowners requesting from you the most?
Good question. I don't know.
I'm sure you're seeing more of the techie stuff for sure, right? Like
Yes and no.
Really?
Because some people say it's almost too complicated. They don't want that much tech.
Right.
So it's like cut the tech out and just simplify it. And some people want the tech everywhere. It varies so much for every house. Like I've seen saunas being requested more.
Yeah.
Those are nice.
Yeah.
Steam showers, saunas, more gyms, I'd say, in homes. Like people want that the health side and wellness of a home
Yeah.
integrated into their home. I'd say that's trending more. Always nice kitchens, nice dinings, nice bars, like all that stuff. Walk-in pantries is a big thing right now.
Walk-in, yeah.
Walk-in pantries are very nice to have. Big glass, big windows. Like those are, I'd say, the repeat requests we see on homes now. But as a trend, I don't see a certain specific trend that much.
Do you get any unusual requests, like people wanting, I don't know what you call it, like a safe room or,
Safe room.
you know, like
Sometimes. Not often still, though.
The
Like,
hidden
Yeah,
bunkers. Anyone do a bunker?
No bunker yet.
No, I would do a bunker.
One project we're
His
kind of
dad
like a
wants
safe
to buy a
room.
silo
Okay.
and build out a
I know.
silo.
Yeah, right. That might not happen. Yeah. I don't think that's happening in the future.
That's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, specific trend I don't see. And like in the design of homes are changing all the time. Like it's just, I find people are pushing boundaries a bit more and not following trends, at least our clients. Working with interior designers and architects that aren't trying to follow a trend. They're trying to lead the trend, which is fun to be part of. And they don't want to just do your white farmhouse with boarded batten and black windows. Like those are trends that are gone and we don't want to keep following. We're trying to set the trend instead of follow it. So
I think that's what's cool about you guys and what you do and all that, because everything that you create is different in some sense, right? Like nothing is the same.
no, not one project's the same. They're drastically different.
You know what I saw? I don't know if you guys saw that video. There was a TikTok going around, and maybe it was regurgitated content from somewhere else, but the backsplash in this kitchen was motorized to reveal the other side of the kitchen.
That's
Have
cool.
you seen that? I would love something like
that'd be
that.
fun. I
Like
haven't done
that's
that
your
yet.
dirty kitchen
Yeah,
when
right?
oh man.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
I would be one of those
yeah.
clients of yours
Give
where
me some wow factor.
yeah, let's do something somebody hasn't seen
Yeah.
or that you haven't done.
That'd be fun.
I definitely would be the $800 a square
Yeah, he
foot.
might be there more.
Yeah.
It wouldn't take long to get up to that price range, I don't imagine.
No.
No, if you pick everything you want, you're there really quickly.
Yeah.
Well, and we've said this on podcasts before. Things like tile, like flooring, you can have a dramatic swing depending on your finish, right? Or your product.
You can get decent tile for
Hardware.
$6 a square foot, right?
Yeah.
But you can hit $20 really fast. You got to be careful what you're picking. There's so many options now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
So everything. Toilets.
Everything, yeah. You can get
Oh,
$200.
yeah.
fixtures.
See? You want the fancy
I do want
toilets.
one
The fancy ones
toilet.
are nice. I just suggest one in a home everywhere.
Yeah. Well, my argument was that you can even exclude it from the sale and take it with you.
Yeah, you could.
Technically.
Yeah, it's more of a piece of furniture at that point.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt,
I'd
can you
say
have
so.
somebody swing by and swab out the toilets?
You can do it.
Things to consider when doing a larger renovation. Well, you and your team just did one for one of our team
Yeah.
members not that long ago.
Yeah. Things to consider. All the unforeseen hidden stuff is the
Right.
biggest thing you always got to consider.
Open the wall. There's no
Open the wall.
insulation.
Exactly, all
There's
that stuff.
mold.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to find. That's the hardest part about renovations.
Have you had people who their intention was to do a reno and they ended up rebuilding because of all
tear
the
down.
Well, I know people in cottages that have had
Oh,
that.
yeah.
The one
Yeah.
next to us.
Yeah. I'm close to that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
they open it up and there's so many problems. It just makes sense to tear down.
Totally. And we try to guide clients sometimes before they purchase a home. Like I was saying earlier, they'll tell us, like, here's the listing, review it. And I can typically tell what you're going to get into pretty quickly. Like a renovation can add up fast. Like you're 700 to $1 million pretty quick for like a full house reno. Like it'll climb to that level pretty quickly. And if you're trying to bring your house up to like to code and everything, at some point you kind of have this tipping point where all I'm keeping is maybe a roof, some walls in your foundation, and everything else came out.
Right.
So, and then you're limited to the layout and the ceiling heights and all the things that people don't like. So
Yeah.
it's a fine balance of when you touch a home and actually start to renovate it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It just, you see things all the time. Like you open up a wall, no insulation there, or you think there's ductwork run a certain way and you open it up and it went the wrong way, or it's done improperly, or then you're in fixing that. Like you just have to be ready on renos for surprises. And the older the home, the more surprises.
And when it comes to the like designated historic homes, I imagine the cost is higher because you have some limitations, but a lot of people are concerned about, what can I do to it? And are most of the limitations are cosmetic on the outside, would you say?
You're trying to keep it looking like a heritage home, right? So you're limited to colors, window types, type of material you can use on your windows. You can't change the brick, like, or whatever the home might be of, but you're limited in that way. Interior, you have a lot more flexibility, but then you're also not trying to.
You want them to work
You want them to work
together,
together, right? You don't want this
We've
beautiful
been in
historic
some
home.
houses where it's like super modern inside and farmhouse outside. Or
Right.
And
whatever.
the juxtaposition can be interesting if done properly.
Yeah.
But there's you got to just walk that line carefully for sure.
Do you guys ever wonder, because I've thought about this, right? Because we see some of the older homes that, like, let's use Old Milton, for example, because you've done quite a few customs in Old Milton. Those homes were built very differently than the new, 10-year, within the last 10 years, these types of cookie cutter homes that have been built in the last 10 years. Do you guys ever wonder, like homes like we live in, right? They're 14 years old, built by Mattamy Homes. Like, what's going to happen to that house in 30 years? Right?
Well,
Are you going to
structurally,
be
You got to
would
wonder.
be-
That's a good question.
right?
You got to
Like
wonder.
the way those homes were constructed, there's no chance in hell they're going to last as long as
You
the
don't
home.
think there will be modern day century homes?
They,
The Mattamy model that's 100 years old.
Yeah.
they will be premature.
Well, they will require a lot more upkeep, I imagine, to get there.
Potentially.
But then to Matt's point, or 2 years earlier, do you just tear it down and redo?
What can I put on this postage stamp lot?
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen?
Yeah,
in
we're
the
looking
future?
at one project that's a new builder grade home, and the client's looking at gutting that home and bring it up to a level of a custom home.
Yeah.
And keep the exterior as is. Like I find the exterior of a developer home really not bad. They're cookie cutter, but they're good materials. Like I don't see them
Cheaping out.
Like brick's not going to fall apart unless you install it horribly the wrong way, right?
Yep.
So I think the exterior of these homes are going to be okay. The windows are going to go, but what house isn't?
Right.
Interior, they're builder basic homes, right? Like at some point they're going to need upgrading.
So what you're saying is that these homes are fine, but you're going to have to gut the inside, and
I think over time,
and your
for sure.
major components in any home need to be replaced.
Yeah, for sure. People just want maybe more open concept, different cabinets, change the floor. We find some issues in these homes, just like they've been exposed to weather and you have to redo subfloor, or insulation's poorly done, or they don't take the care as custom home builders would take.
Right.
So you're fixing those issues, but
they're all fixable.
They're all fixable. I think ultimately, fundamentally, they're a good home.
Are you getting any like multi-generational type of builds or accessory dwelling units or anything like that?
More and more lately. The accessory dwelling is becoming a bigger and bigger ask on homes, I'd say.
And they're actually investing, like making them nice?
Yeah,
like
make them nice.
To match the house,
yeah,
basically.
Exactly. So a nice detached
For
area,
the purpose of
bathrooms.
renting?
Yeah, renting or for family members, older parents, whatnot, coming into a home and giving them a place they can live without the cost, and they're nearby but not encroaching on each other's space. But renting purpose as well, it makes sense. Like it's not a crazy investment. You're going to get your return on your money if you do it and start renting it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're seeing more of those for sure.
Yeah, we talked maybe, 2 years ago on the podcast about laneway homes or accessory homes.
Well, the cost for that usually pays off fairly quick from on an annual return basis.
What are you putting the same dollar per square foot on something like that?
Essentially, it's a smaller home, right? There's not much difference. I'm kind of saying 400 to 450 on those, but again, depends on your finishes. Like you can make them pretty nice.
But you're making
quickly.
them 500 square feet, right? Or something like that.
Sometimes they can almost end up to be a bit more expensive than those square footage amounts because there's no economy of scale.
Right.
Like I can pour.
You don't have the volume,
Yeah,
essentially.
I can pour a big foundation or a small foundation. Like I still have to dig the hole. Like sure, it's less digging and less concrete, but it still all takes time, and there's not that economic side to it, right? Like they're not cheap not necessarily. It's not like I can just throw one up for $50,000. That doesn't really occur unless you're really saving on how it's built, like slab on grade and less insulation and just basic finishes. But they can add up. It depends how nice you want it.
Or you get one of those storage bins.
Yeah.
Stack them.
Stack them and spray them, foam them, be done.
It just depends on who's living there.
Yeah, right.
In-laws or
maybe not. Yeah, in-laws or my own parents.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the fun topic, you wanted to talk a little bit about the cost increase and inflation. We've already gone down that path a little bit, but what does that really look like, and what do you think that future is this year and maybe next year?
I don't think anyone can read the future right now with everything going on. Everyone's asking the same question, like tariffs. What are they going to do to us, right? Like everyone's saying, start buying within Canada. We have the lumber, we supply the drywall, we have the concrete, like we have all those resources. I see some brands coming out of the States that clients may just not pick anymore, depending on the cost. If you're adding 25% on a faucet or a toilet or a furnace or whatever, there's other alternatives. It'll be interesting to see where that side of that whole market goes. Inflation's just been occurring everywhere. That's where I said you could do 450. Before COVID, we were at 350. Like wow, and then right through COVID up to 450, and it's gone up and up and up since.
If you're comparing apple to apple, 2025 to 2019, 6-year gap, same finishes, same house,
double
Double the price.
Double the price for sure. At this point, you can't do it for less. Labor rates have gone up. There's more demand for trades. It's harder to find good trades. Just the material cost has gone up. Like everything's increased. So, but along with that, I'd say you probably seen it too. Like real estate has also increased, right?
Yeah.
Like a home from 2019 to now, what's that price increase, right? Like everything has gone up a certain amount.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's constantly going up. It seems to have leveled out now, but this political climate, I'm not sure where it's going to go. And I think people are concerned about it.
Did you have any clients back out of moving forward because of those increases? Or did they just bite the bullet? And
Most are still okay to proceed.
yeah,
It's just a matter of guiding them and
fine-tuning things.
and suggesting the right products to achieve a certain budget. Still, like it can be done. You can't just spend willy-nilly. I can't think of anyone that's really pulled back too much. The smaller projects have gone away. Maybe that's how our company's developing. Like we're taking on larger projects, but I think it's also money's not that available. Like a low interest rate, sure, I can take on that large renovation or I can build that house and I can get the funding for it. When now it's not as easy to do. So I think that's been a big shift as well in the market that we've seen. People with money that have it and ready to spend it, they're good to go ahead and proceed. But people that are leveraging certain assets and trying to get loans from banks to proceed, that market seems to have shifted away quite a bit.
Are you connecting people, like they come to you and you connect them with the various professionals involved? So the mortgage brokers that specialize in construction loans and all of that stuff.
Yeah, there's a few people we work with, we know that can help clients, and we try to send them to certain individuals that can take care of that and guide them accordingly. So
Yeah, because I think all of these unknowns are variables that maybe keep people from pursuing it. Like I have some clients now that are on the fence, oh, do I buy something or do I build something? It's like they can't get exactly what they want, but they don't know the process or cost involved with getting what they want. So.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's people that definitely can help you, just give you a plan prior to purchasing properties and all that. Just know what funds you are able to get, how it's going to work, when will they be released, what's it going to cost to get that money.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Carrying cost involved.
yeah,
Especially if you're in a two-year window of carrying it, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't plan for those expenses. All right. We're moving on to the fun topic. Adrian wasn't privy to that conversation between you and I.
let's get out of here.
But while I brought up Costa Rica, you brought up Turks and Caicos, I think it was.
Somewhere warmer with that out the snow.
So it's obviously something you've kind of thought about.
Whether it's a dream or not, I don't know, but it sounds like it'd be nice.
So opening up operations somewhere south.
Building something south would be fun.
For yourself or actually starting a company?
Good question.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I get it.
Try a project first and then move on from there.
Yeah.
But so what I was saying to Matt and what was going through my head is between the four of us, I'll include John in that conversation, but even the three of us or even the two of us or the two of us, the resources that we have available, the experience, it would be nice if we use them to have a little break from this this climate,
miserable
especially
weather.
have a little destination where we could go and actually expand our companies. So whether it's Adrian's sister-in-law and brother own property in Costa Rica.
Yeah, they have
Her parents.
I don't know if they still own, but they spend time there.
It looks like a
my-
nice place.
Yeah, they have a condo that they renovated and they live there, and they also have a vacant lot. And their plan was to build. I think that's changed now very much because of the discussion of cost. So that put things on hold for them. So I don't know what they're doing with it now, but they were gung ho excited to do something there.
For sure.
And they love it there.
But
They're
her parents
2,
are
3, 4 months
snowbirds
a
down
year.
there and sell real estate there as well.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was looking at the real estate cost down there. For what you're getting, it seems quite economical.
Yeah.
I don't know what you know about the market, if it's developing or are they seem like good price points now that are most likely going to increase over the next few years.
Well, they have been increasing dramatically over the last 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
And there's no slowing down because a lot of their target audience is actually those snowbirds from Canada and from the eastern United States.
Well, and people retiring here can't afford to retire here, so they're forced to go places like that, which are appealing
and they have excellent health care.
affordable.
Yeah. That's what I didn't think of that in Costa Rica, but what you start reading, good healthcare, good schooling. It's not a dangerous place. Like in no means is this a third world country you're going to.
Right.
It's a nice place with warm weather and nice beaches. Like it starts getting pretty appealing quickly.
It does. And with all of those things in place already, it becomes a great place for, and they want to attract entrepreneurs to come down there and help them
For sure.
develop even further.
Yeah. It'd be a learning curve.
So Matt and I, we were saying that we may have to go down there and start sourcing some options of, some business discussions.
Yeah.
I think some research might be necessary.
Some
Probably not a bad idea.
research.
Yeah.
Some business
Make sure the
development
beaches are nice
research.
enough. Yeah.
I don't know if I could.
Make sure there's good
would you go
restaurants
away
around.
permanently? I don't know if I could.
I don't know if I could leave Canada.
I couldn't.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe
later
30
on.
years
Yeah.
from now.
There's a lot of things I like about Canada. I like having our cottage. I like Canadian summers.
I like the winter. know
like parts of
nobody
winter.
does, but I enjoy snowboarding and all that stuff. So I appreciate.
I also
the
like
cool
surfing
weather.
and I like beaches too, though. So
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there are places where you can do both.
yeah.
Why
I know,
can't
right?
you vacation for that?
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you look at
Here
what,
you're going to Glen Eden,
Yeah.
right?
Not
if you're
as- not as
vacationing,
nice.
you're
No.
going to like the Alps.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah, those are a bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look at what you can get for rental costs too down there. Like a nice home's gonna rent out for quite a lot of money, so you can probably cover your costs. Building down there, you'd have to figure out code what's necessary.
Yeah.
It's a different beast entirely.
Well,
We're
I think
using
you're-
local trades.
Yeah, and you're building very differently depending on where you are with earthquakes, and they have different codes to
For
accommodate
sure.
that.
Yeah.
I don't know how that
Because like
would
here
work.
we're all
Yeah,
wood
like that
framed.
condo that collapsed in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, don't need that, right? Yeah, because I have friends in Barbados. I have clients that have places in other warm destinations. Like, the market is there. There's
Yeah.
ways to build. Like we use ICF foundations here. We've always thought it makes sense in a tropical climate to do that. They're lightweight. Hot weather is not going to affect how it's not labor intensive.
Yeah.
All these places have concrete. You fill it up with concrete. Like the windows we get from here, you can ship on a container. Like, is it really that different of a cost? I'm not sure.
And I don't think we'd have any problem going to some of our existing staff and saying, hey, do you want to go and work in Costa Rica for a couple months to see this project through?
Yeah, everyone we've asked is like, yeah, it's appealing to everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's some loopholes you might have to get through to work down there, whether they want you to, like, I'm not sure how that works. Do you need work visas or whatnot?
Jen, get on it.
There's some. I mean, it comes with. There are some risks that come with it, I suppose, too. Depending, like talking climate, we visited a house in Bahamas in Freeport, and I went with my sister-in-law and brother, and she was there photographing it for the guy because he rented it out when he wasn't using it, and it was beautiful. It was right on the beach, so you got private beach. I think it was like 4-bedroom, 5-bathroom, really nice place. And then one of the hurricanes a few years ago, I don't remember which one, but it was one of the larger ones, just wiped the whole thing out. So basically it became an inlet. There was no land, period.
Not great.
No. It was beautiful.
It was.
And so I don't know, there's things you have to think about.
Yeah, you got to think about that.
Oh,
I'm
you
not sure
did-
what the weather's like there. And I've
Ever
heard
been
this-
to the Florida Keys?
No.
It's a matter of
it'll be underwater at some
Yeah.
point.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a matter of time because it's already a
a sandbar.
narrow. Yeah.
That's essentially what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like it can't be there forever.
Millions and hundreds of millions of dollars worth of real estate in the Florida Keys that
All of Florida.
if it exists 30 years from now, I would be shocked.
Yeah. It'll be very different if it is. Extremely different.
So I think our followers, listeners should comment on whether or not they would be interested if KT and Kingsgate were to join ventures and create opportunity to own property out in Costa Rica, or if not Costa Rica, where would you like to see us go? I'll throw that out there.
I like the proposition.
Adrian's scared.
No, I'm not. I like the proposition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can.
We should probably go visit first, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With surfboards in hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to see the property from the water too, right?
Of course. Yeah.
You can't just check it from land.
I'll be sure to pack my work boots this time. Okay, Adrian?
Oh, opposed to your Lacoste shoes?
Yes.
Every time we're on a construction site.
Yeah,
Well, thanks for coming on today, Matt.
for sure. It's always fun talking with you guys.
For those of you that don't follow Kingsgate Construction, their Instagram is Kingsgate Construction. And as Adrian mentioned, they are posting lots of great content to follow them along in their projects and what they do. Matt's shop and showroom is not far from our office. So if you're thinking about building a custom home in the future, whether it's now or in the future, we can help put it all together with you, for you. And just drop us a comment or send us a DM. Happy to help.
Definitely.
Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
I think you summed it up perfectly.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, good to see you again.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, everyone, for listening today. You can find us at Kingsgate Construction on Instagram. Hope you enjoyed the conversation today and got something out of it. Look forward to talking again soon. See you next time.